Takes advantage, and they're going with some tempo. Cook down the sideline, squeezes it into Burbridge. What a move as he stays on his feet and leaps into the end zone for a touchdown. Are you kidding me?
And welcome to Inside the Pylon First Sound. I am Matt Caraccio, and if you haven't figured it out by now, Aaron Burbridge is the subject of our next edition of Inside the Pylon, and the Michigan State product is really going to be a special player to look at for two traits in particular, and we'll get to those in 1 minute. But a little background, he's a senior, he's 6 feet, 210 pounds, 22 years of age. He had 85 receptions last year for 1,258 yards and 7 touchdowns. And as we've said in the past, there are so many different traits that make up the wide receiver position. But I think Aaron Burbridge, and I think that play kind of shows you, we're going to be looking at things like play strength and competitive toughness today. So let's get right into it. Play strength. Basically, when you're evaluating play strength, you're trying to determine, can the wide receiver win one-on-one encounters? And those different one-on-one encounters can occur at different places throughout the course of a game. Whether it's releases, can he be easily directed? Can he handle physicality at the line of scrimmage? Press coverage, can he handle it? The vertical stem of his route is another area where you're checking play strength. Can he hold the red line? The red line being the 6-yard area from the sideline. Can he make sure he doesn't get pushed out of bounds? Can he hold that red line so that way he gives his quarterback an opportunity, a window if it were, for him to throw into? Can he handle snuggling with a defensive back? Can he fight with a defensive back throughout the vertical stem of his route? You know, referees let defensive backs and wide receivers, kind of play against each other. Just like in soccer, when you watch two players going after a soccer ball, you'll notice how they kind of lean into one another. They're shouldering off one another as they're trying to attack the soccer ball. Same thing is allowed when it comes to wide receiver and defensive back play. They're allowed to kind of snuggle with one another, use their hands, fight with one another to try to maintain position. So can they handle that part of their route? At the tops of their routes, we're looking to see, can they disengage quickly after collisions, specifically on curl routes, digs, in and out routes. At the catch point, can they jump for the football? Do they fight for that football? Can they high point the ball? And especially after the catch, are they breaking tackles? How are they handling themselves after the catch? When a player's trying to tackle them or they need to get that first down, are they fighting for every yard? And blocking is a big place where I think play strength becomes pretty evident, because you have to be able to block in the NFL. I think wide receivers can play a really instrumental role in springing a big play for their running back. When it comes to competitive toughness, I think the key or essential question here is, are they unyielding both mentally and physically in all endeavors on the field of play? That recent clip that we just saw of Aaron Burbridge playing against Penn State, I think that was a really excellent example of competitive toughness. You had the opportunity to see him unyielding and unwilling to give up on that play. He was pushed out of bounds. He lost that play strength battle at the line of scrimmage, but mentally he was unwilling to give up on the play, and he found a way to get back into the field, make a spectacular catch, and then physically he pushed himself towards the end zone. So some of the areas that we like to look for in competitive toughness: over the middle of the field, do they show consistent play speed, or do they have a different speed? Maybe they're slower over the middle of the field. Maybe they show more trepidation when running across the middle of the field. Do they make receptions in high traffic areas? Are they able to go across the middle of the field or with imminent contact and actually make a catch? Because that's really crucial. When you know you're going to get hit, can you still make the reception? Or do you have alligator arms? Do you just kind of almost flippantly kind of reach out for the ball and have the ball go through those arms? In critical situations, third down, in the red zone, drive sustaining receptions, the final 2 minutes of the half or the game, are you making plays? Are you pushing yourself above and beyond your potential to help your team succeed? After the catch, do you have a nose for the chains? We talked about it with play strength. Are you fighting for every yard? Are you pushing to move the chains for your team? Reactions to adversity. I mean, how do you handle if you have a fumble? What does a wide receiver do on the very next play after a fumble? Or what does he do after he drops a critical pass? How does he look? Does he look like he's troubled by it? Does it impact his play on the next play? What does it look like when he's reacting to adversity? When it comes to blocking, again, blocking comes up on competitive toughness again. You have to be a blocker to play the position of wide receiver. I'm just a big believer that I want to see receivers block because I think there's 90% of blocking is a willingness to block. And some of the things that you want to look for when you're blocking is you want to see that the guy can play with leverage, that he's unyielding in his approach to it. He's never, ever giving up on a block, and he keeps fighting to make sure that he creates a running lane for his running back. So I'm excited to go ahead and take a look at Aaron Burbridge and see how play strength and competitive toughness kind of get involved. And before we kind of get into it, just a reminder, the videos reviewed here are not hosted on this server, and the original video content is not considered the property of myself or Inside the Pylon. The videos are considered to be used under the Fair Use Doctrine of the United States Copyright Law, Title 17, U.S. Code Sections 107 through 118. Videos are used for editorial and educational purposes, and only myself and Inside the Pylon do not claim ownership of any original video content. Inside the Pylon and myself do not use said video clips in advertisements, marketing, or for direct financial gain. All video content in each clip is considered owned by the individual broadcast companies. And here we are. This is the Michigan State Trojans versus the Michigan Wolverines from 2015. And we're going to be taking a look at Aaron Burbridge, and we're going to try to evaluate his competitive toughness as well as his play strength throughout the game. Okay, so here we are. It's 3rd and 11. It's the first quarter. Okay, it looks like Michigan is driving. Okay, there's Aaron Burbridge. He's basically at the line of scrimmage. And the defensive coverage, if we go ahead and just run through this a little bit, defensive coverage is playing off. So it looks like it's going to be some type of maybe pickup here. This might be some type of pattern read because I think he's going to end up picking up Burbridge right here and playing him man-to-man. But it's 3rd and 11, so this would be one of your critical situations, which would be 3rd down, and you'd like to see how Burbridge handles himself throughout this route. Okay, so if we zoom right in here and take a look at the video, you'll notice that Aaron Burbridge is playing this guy. It's man-to-man coverage, and watch what he does with his offhand. Watch, there it is, right there. Did you notice if we kind of rewind back a little bit? Okay, maybe we went a little bit too far, but here we go. Watch what he does with that offhand right there. That offhand is coming free, and he's going to swipe away the defensive back's ability to redirect him and push him off his route. If he allows the defensive back to redirect him, it's going to throw off the timing that he has with Connor Cook. So this is an excellent play by Burbridge to maintain his play speed, maintain his speed on his route, and keep himself clean, making sure that the timing between him and Connor Cook stays intact. That's a great play by Aaron Burbridge to help out his quarterback. And it's such a little thing, but those are the types of things that really indicate play strength when you're talking about a wide receiver. This is 2nd and 7, and this is going to be a run play. And here's Aaron Burbridge at the bottom of the screen. And I'd like you to take a look at how he blocks the cornerback. And let's take a look if we can assess his play strength and competitive toughness as he's blocking this cornerback. Connor Cook gives him the handoff. The first thing I like is at least he's attacking the proper point on the defensive back. I don't like how he's letting the defensive back get into him. He's a pretty solid wide receiver, strong. He's got to be able to play this a little bit better. But let's see if he continues to fight and help his running back. He does a decent job keeping himself between defender and the running back, and he competes on that play. It could have been a better play overall. I'd like to see Burbridge fight a little bit better and be a good blocker. You know, when you watch him on film, the first thing that comes to mind is he doesn't have any particular tool that's outstanding. But when you watch his play strength and competitive toughness, you say there's a lot of room there for him to grow and to being an effective player at the next level. But one of the things he's going to have to do is he's going to have to be a better blocker and help his team in those departments. So this is a play where I think he started out okay, let the defensive back get into him, and he really didn't keep his leverage and keep contact throughout the play. And as a result, I just don't like the way this ends because this cornerback could come back in and make a play here. So here we go. It's 3rd and 10. Again, it's another one of those critical situations. So you want to see how he helps his team move the chains. He's going to get the football on this play, and I want you to notice how even through imminent contact, he goes up, makes the reception, takes the hit, and keeps the ball through the ground. A little bit of a false step at the line of scrimmage, a little bit of a rounded off cut, but he does expect contact. He does make the reception despite being hit all the way to the ground. It's a screen pass, 2nd and 21. Burbridge receives the reception, and I really like that. I really like how he dips his shoulder and he attacks the defender. I like how he's not trying to be overly elusive, potentially losing ground, tripping, falling. I like how he just says, I'm going to make this reception and I'm going to get upfield. Aaron Burbridge knows how to play within himself and use his physical tools to gain yards for his team. This is a great display of competitiveness as well as some play strength as he definitely gets the edge physically over this defensive back. 1st and 10, still the first quarter. It's 0-0. There's 3:56 left in the first quarter, and this is going to end up being an end around. And you'll notice that Burbridge is going to get the ball, and he's going to have the entire open field to work with. And you'd like to see what he does as a runner, especially after the catch. Does he try to win with physicality? And in this play, I think he pulls up a little bit. You would have liked to have seen him charge upfield and make that play. So it's just interesting to note that in a play where he definitely was designed to be the primary ball carrier and on a running play, it looked like he kind of tried to make a play that was elusive or trying to make the tackler miss when he really should have just been trying to get the yardage, get the first down. So overall, it was an okay play, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that power. 1st and 10, Michigan State is driving. They're on Michigan's side of the field, and this is going to end up being a quick slant route. There's my man Burbridge right up here at the top of the screen, and you're going to notice that he's going to run a slant route over the middle of the field. And again, one of the things you'd like to see when you're talking about competitive toughness, the mental acumen for the game, how they're competing down in and down out. You want to see no change in speed. You don't want to see the player give up on the play. You want to see them really play just as fast in the middle of the field as they do on the outside of the field. Does a nice job. You could see that nice forward body lean, pads over knees, knees over ankles. He's accelerating clearly over the middle of the field, makes a reception, and it's thrown a little bit behind him, but he makes the catch and he gets the first down. It's just a nice display of athleticism and overall effort. Again, this is another blocking play that I take issue with just because on this particular play, you know that the actual play is going to be run to your side, and you know you have to go ahead and take advantage of this defensive back and try to get on them and make this block. And I'd like to see him fire off the line of scrimmage because when you're running as a wide receiver, one of the most crucial things you need to be able to do is sell that vertical route. If you could sell the vertical route at all times, most defensive backs are afraid of getting beat deep. So if you could sell the vertical, no matter how fast you really are, if you could sell that vertical route, I think you do a great job of keeping defensive backs on their heels and keeping them unaware of exactly what your intended plan of attack is. So you'd like to see him get off the line of scrimmage quicker. You'd like to see him really get in and be a little bit more of a blocker. 2nd and 8, 3rd quarter, 12 minutes on the clock. Michigan is up 10-7 on State. And here's Aaron Burbridge right there. And again, we're going to take a look at what Burbridge does as a blocker. And again, the things that we want to see him do is we want to see him get his body in the right position. We want to see him establish good leverage, right? Getting pads under pads, making sure he's got a nice wide base, making sure that he's pushing off his insteps and making contact and sustaining contact as a blocker. So the first thing he did is he took a little bit of a poor angle as a blocker. So one thing he should have been doing instead of running to a spot was he should have had a better aiming point on the defender. And now let's take a look after this reception. Because he missed that block, because him and his teammate missed that block, that defender was able to get underneath and he was able to make a play on the ball carrier. 2nd and 7, Michigan's up 17-7. Michigan State is driving. Here's Aaron Burbridge. He's right here at the bottom of the screen. And this play, I think, is very exemplary of what play strength and competitive toughness looks like, specifically play strength. He's going to get physically handled right here at the line of scrimmage, and watch how quickly he disengages and makes sure that he makes himself available to his quarterback for a reception. Right there, right at the line of scrimmage, you saw the cornerback, he jammed him. He was able to disengage. You still don't want to see that cornerback get up on his breastplate too easily, but still he was able to disengage, and in a physical situation on a slant route, he was able to make himself available for his quarterback. So despite right here, you'll notice there's the cornerback, and he's going to jam him right there. Burbridge lets him get into his chest plate, but he has the strength to out-physical him right there. He out-physicals him right here, and he disengages quickly, and he gets back on his route, making sure that he makes himself available to his cornerback. This is an outstanding play from Aaron Burbridge. It's 23-21. There's 7:15 left on the clock in the fourth quarter. Again, this is a big game for Michigan State, and they're driving right now. They're trying to get those points that are going to put them ahead. And as you can see, this is an opportunity right here for big players to make some big plays. So let's take a look at Burbridge. He's facing what appears to be some press coverage. He's going to get a little bit of physicality there, keeps himself clean, holds the red line, makes an excellent catch with eminent contact and a player draped all over him. It's a fantastic play, and you could see the competitiveness as he fights for that football, freeing himself up to make that reception. There he goes, keeps himself clean, hands, he's handling the snuggle, and boom, can make that catch. It's another great play that's coming up here. It's 2nd and 15, fourth quarter, 4 minutes left on the clock. Again, Michigan State is down by 2. They're driving. And if you'll notice, here you go. Here's Aaron Burbridge right here. He's going to be facing man coverage again, and he's going to get a lot of physicality throughout this route. He shows excellent play strength, able to kind of thwart the defender's ability to jam him up and redirect him, and he's able to make himself available for the quarterback to throw the football. So let's take a look here at the snap of the football. False steps a little bit. Again, is able to handle all the contact throughout the vertical stem of his route. And he's able to readjust right there. You can see all the contact throughout the vertical stem of his route. He's able to stay on the football, and he makes a catch right there. That's just excellent concentration, excellent play strength, and he just competes for the football in a big situation, in a big game. He makes the catch. So overall, throughout this video, you had an opportunity hopefully to see some examples of some competitive toughness and play strength. I think in terms of Aaron Burbridge, when you start evaluating these traits, I think you see that you have a very competitive player when the ball is going his way, when he knows the ball is coming to him, or he knows he's an option or a primary option as a receiver. You could definitely see him elevate his game and play his game at a high level. I think as a blocker, I think he leaves a lot to be desired. It's not that he can't block. I just would like to see it be more consistent throughout each and every play. I think as a player, as a wide receiver, I think he brings a lot of good depth to any team that drafts him. I think he's a good football player. I think he's a guy that could compete on special teams. I think he's a guy that wants to play the game. As a blocker, that's where I'd like to see him really just elevate his game. But I think you're talking about a player who's solid, shows solid competitive toughness, shows some solid to good play strength, and I think he's a guy that you can depend on to be a good football player for your team. I want to thank you so much for joining me for this edition of Inside the Pylon, and I'd like to thank everybody for all their views on the previous videos. I'm really trying hard to change the format, really trying to elevate my game a little bit to bring you guys some unique content And really, the whole point of this is to try to share with you some of my thoughts and insights and things that I've learned. And again, this is supposed to be an opportunity for us as a community to kind of get together, watch some film, and enjoy the game that we're all so passionate about. Thank you so much, and join me next time for another edition of Inside the Pylon First Sound.